I'm happy to have this panel, what are the achievements of most, what we really made over the last few years of the project that have been discussed about already in 2011, and then for many of us it was okay, we should do it sooner, but then at the end finally we are here, and then you have this great ending with 350 delegates, or maybe 352, correct me. So this is like something you cannot imagine. It's so nice to have you all here. We are all here thanks to Most Music Project, which is run by Hangvető. Klára is the project manager, and she is in charge. She will be the speaker. She works for Hangvető, and she's one of these many new faces that Hangvető introduced and now completely familiar with us. So this is also very nice. We have Maja, also a new face on the in our circuit. She's from Montenegro. She was in the training pillar. Also before, completely out of the scale, but she will tell more. Behind her is Strahinja from Serbia. He's doing Dog Festival, but also the pitching was so good that he has this project he will tell us more about. R.O.K, one of the people who is in this circuit for ages, as we are, Obelix, as he said, and then living in Italy, but from Belgium, which is a good combination. Katerina is from band Perija, but also she was in the training pillar. R.O.K, who has been doing everything in this project, in charge for portfolios, but then he was doing much more than this. And Simon is from Songlines, one of the key partners in most music projects, journalist, editor, Budapest Ritmo award-winning, also film director, documentary film author, and then one of the most important persons in the world music circuit. So Simon, I would like to start with you, as you are in the Songlines from the beginning. And then sometimes I will feel it might be strange that the magazine joins such projects. So what is the main reason for Songlines to step in?
Okay, hello, and thank you. This quickly is Songlines. It's a world music magazine, if we are going to call it that, which has been going nearly 25 years. We're based in London, covering music all around the world, but obviously as part of this project, being involved, I guess as media partners, really, as part of this project. That's why we were got in, and we've been not only writing about some of the events, some of the artists, but we did 3 sort of cover mount CDs with the magazine. I mean, regularly we're doing sort of free CDs with the magazine, promoting different things, and so part of this project was doing these 3 albums, and each album was each stage of the Balkan music export pillar of the MOST project. So we had 10, 12 artists each at each stage, each of the 3 stages. So that included Perija and I mean all of the bands that we're hearing at this festival that were part of the project. I mean, I've had a long interest personally in the music of the Balkans, because I've been able to travel here. I've been lucky enough to travel here, both in Hungary, which is obviously not the Balkans as far as we're concerned, but is the country that's been the project leader of this whole thing. And then I have been to other parts of the Balkans and know a lot of the music there. in Britain, I think as in most places in Europe, there was a sort of Balkan boom moment which became a sort of stereotype thing with the Balkan brass bands, of which I'm a big fan. I certainly, still love this music. But I think perhaps one of the successes of Most has been to show the many other aspects of the Balkan music that there are, and just to name a few of them that are here this weekend. I mean, Perija, I think, is a good example, and a very different style of music. And I'm pleased to say I've seen Perija, and I think largely thanks to the Moss project, I think 3 festivals over the last 12 months or so, 12 or 18 months. So Perija as one example. I mean, I think Katerina Sergi last night, this wonderful sort of Romanian Lautari style. Alice in Wonderland, who we haven't heard yet, but we had a sort of listening session here doing a new take. They were doing a new take on a Mystère de Voix Bulgare track, and that's another band that many years ago became very widely known. This radio and television choir from Bulgaria became a very popular sort of Balkan music, and I think I would say what I'm noticing is really how many other things are going on in the Balkans musically than the stereotypes that we already know.
Maybe while you are talking, I mean, this project meant a lot for us from the Balkans, but how the Western audience or Western media understand the Balkan music scene nowadays, I mean, compared to what was before Most and before the pandemic?
Well, I guess I see our role a bit as sort of educating, because clearly, I mean, as I said, the Balkan brass stereotype is there and that is known, but I see really the aim now to show all the other things that there are in the Balkans, and that's going to be an ongoing process. And I think in a way the legacy of Most has got to be spreading that word that it's a much more varied and richly textured scene than perhaps people were aware of before.
Eric was the mentor for several bands in this project, and you run Music for You, like sending newsletters about many different aspects in the world music, and you sharing the news, but also you then included lots of the Balkan stuff. And working as a mentor, how it looks from your perspective, I mean, how the bands were reacting to this kind of work?
Okay, first I want to say about the MOS project. So I think the project was really well designed with these different pillars, and so for the artists, providing the artists with the mentorship, training, some support, and also all this community that is, growing now. So as a mentor, mostly I was working with 2 bands, so the Flying Nomads, who will be from Bulgaria, that they will perform this evening at 7:30, and with Balkan from Croatia, who will perform tomorrow at Photon. I've chosen those 2 bands because they are young bands, and I'm very interested by the startup stage or discovery stage of the band. So the artists have, especially when they are young, I mean, it's like a little bit, some teenagers, you have a lot of questions and you don't have people to answer you. And so that's the role of the mentor, is to show some white lines, to give some advice, but especially active listening, trying to figure out, what are the, because for a new band, you know, the music industry is a tough industry. And so many times you don't understand it, you don't know it. I mean, you have your project, your creativity, and you, okay, so that's, so to give a kind of blueprint just to go. Now, about the question of the Balkans, for me, it doesn't matter so much. I mean, you know, I have a passion for music and a passion for people. So, I mean, if they are in the Balkans, it's fine with me. And, but I think this project, and especially this conference, I mean, the conference is a little bit like the cherry on the cake, you know, so if you want to taste more, you have to go to the cake now. But what is important, and I think for me, most legacy is to see all these different peoples with different expertise that could work together. And as a mentor, that's a little bit the thing I was missing, because I work as a mentor almost alone. And I knew that we have 30 people with such interesting expertise that the artists need, because artists are asking me questions, but I cannot answer all the questions, but I can direct them to other people. So I think this MOST project is just the beginning of something new, and yeah, I'm ready to go with it and with you.
Thanks, Eric. From the side of the bands that were selected in 3 calls, I feel it was most very powerful impact on their careers. I mean, it's not only money for the production, but also mentoring sessions and also supporting at the showcases on different levels. Perija is one of the most darlings that has been cherished, and as far as I remember, you have been selected in the 2nd call, and which is also quite an interesting thing, that how geographically it has been developed in the MOST. But then for Perija, for you at the beginning, was it confusing to see what's going on, to work with the mentors on something new level? I mean, your band is completely different from the style. You don't have the industry career like it has with many bands. You are the Nomads band.
Yeah, no, we were kind of sucked into this. We didn't know anything. Like, I remember the first time we were at PIN Music Conference, like, Login came to us and like, what are you doing? Go up, mingle, go do networking. And we were like, what is that? You know, like, so slowly we learned, and thanks to the MOST project, really, because like, I personally learned a lot of stuff, and it did a very big boost actually in our career, you know. And we also met R.O.K, who is now our booking agent, and like, I slowly feel like I have a family. Whenever I go to, like, now I came here and I know like a lot of the people already. It's like we have so many contacts because of MOST, and we're very thankful about this.
So if you have to say 3 most important things that Perija got from MOST, what would you say?
Well, we played at some very important festivals like Exit and especially Womex, which it was, for me, that's the biggest achievement. We learned a lot of stuff, actually. We learned a lot of stuff about the music business and how it works, something we had no idea about before. And the 3rd one, it was really fun, actually. Yeah, I think.
Okay, that's what the whole thing is also about, meeting people, getting together, having fun. But on the other side, you are one of the musicians, not the only one who has been in the band, which was selected in some of the calls, but you have also been in the training pillar as manager professional. So how did this feel for you, being a musician?
When I came to MOST, I basically didn't know much about the music business, and then I remembered, because of the MOST management program, the first round, I was invited by Login to attend the lesson they had in Macedonia. And then there was a lesson by Chris Ekman from Glitter Records, and I couldn't stop listening. I was like, oh my God, I want to get into this. And then I applied for the management training, and I got in. I learned a lot, and I'm so thankful for that because now I'm going to do an internship on WOMEX this year with the Bulgarian Music Agency, and I'm really, really excited for this. You know, I'm really excited to learn more and more. So yeah, it's a very good thing that most did, you know, especially this internship thing, because listening and learning is different than practice and learning. And I think this is the very good side of the most project, that they have the practice side. So yeah, I'm really thankful for this.
Thank you, Katerina. Maja, you have been also in this training pillar, and you have the opportunity to work with Piranha WOMEX in preparing WOMEX. And as you told me before, you haven't been in this circuit at all, so this was completely new. So how is it for you, like a dream come true, or like you were put in the river with the piranhas?
Well, it was sort of a dream come true because, as you mentioned, I'm a complete newbie and beginner. I found out about MOST through an Instagram ad, which was really funny. And I've decided, I was at a point in my life where I was like, yeah, I got nothing to lose. Let's try to pursue my dream, and my dream is to be in the music world. I didn't know at the time in what role would that be. But I applied for MOST, and it was an amazing experience. And then I applied for traineeship at Piranha, and it was a very special experience, to be honest, because WOMEX is such a huge event, and everybody wants to be a part of it. And I was for a month, and to be able to be present and to look how such a huge event is organized is crazy, because their team is really small, but very dedicated and very hardworking, and they know what they want to achieve, and it's been an amazing, amazing experience, yes.
Yeah, that's probably also very interesting. You're coming from Montenegro,
Yes.
which is not having neither big nor small event in this kind of stuff. So your experience, how is it going to take you when you go back home? What can you try, and how you can really improve the things back at home?
Yes, well, my goal when I applied for MOST traineeship, for MOST project, was to learn how to create a festival in my home country, because it's such a small country and a black hole, one mentioned, in the regional scene, and unfortunately it is. People are trying to do something, but it's not enough. So I thought about, okay, let's bring together my ultimate passion for music and dedication to it, and try to pursue my ultimate dream, which is to create a boutique festival in Montenegro. And from this point on, and particularly here with all the networking and mingling and getting to know new people, I'm hoping it's going to be possible to open that option and open that door, because it's highly necessary.
Thank you. Now back to Rok, the multitasking part of the MOST. While you were driving the bands around Europe or swimming in different seas and lakes on different temperatures, you still have to solve many problems. I mean, working on the portfolio with the bands, it's looking like nice thing you can control it, but I mean, some bands had the great experience, they know how to do it, some bands don't, but also you were putting people in the good contact, also checking the contracts, because you are an experienced guy, and probably some of the partners or some of the bands were not that experienced, so some information they are missing, so you were the most. So how does it work for you, I mean, working with so many bands at the same time?
For me, it was probably I'm the only one besides the most people, Hangvető people, who worked with all 30 plus artists. And I was lucky to meet all of them, first online and then in person too. And we keep forgetting that how this project actually started. I mean, immediately after the beginning, there was a pandemic. And we were all in lockdowns, and for me, in many ways, it helped me keep sanity. because I am, as you mentioned, I travel a lot, I like to travel, I like to meet people, and those 2 years were tough for everybody, but luckily this project was, basically, as I said, it kept me alive and kicking and hoping for the best after the end of pandemic. It was very interesting to see those bands entering into the project from very different starting points. Some of them already quite experienced and established, some of them at the very beginning. Some even didn't have bands at that time. And 1, 2, 3 years later, I certainly can say for every band that it made a progress because of the project. Of course, some of them slight, small steps, some of them really big steps. Maybe some steps were even too big for some of them. Because basically at once they were like in a spotlight. There were different experiences, but you know what they say, what happens in the project stays in the project. So it wouldn't be fair to expose all the juicy details.
Please do.
No. I won't. Okay, but I will, because it's about me. It's not about the bands. Personally, what happened me once within the MOST project, I was, as you said, driving around Europe and with one band, and I flew to Sofia for one night from Frankfurt, and then I rejoined the band next day in Copenhagen. And then we traveled all the way to Norway and back to Germany, Belgium, and I think I spent, it was 17 days away from home in 15 different hotel rooms and 15 different beds. And then I woke up at 3 in the morning in my own bedroom, and I didn't recognize the room. I woke up and I didn't remember the number of my room. I was like, fuck, is it 28? No, that was yesterday. 316, no. Which band I'm with? Really, for 3 minutes, I was completely lost. Basically, I had a panic attack. Yeah, one detail from the road.
And for you, at some points, was it more difficult with the bands or with the partners of the project?
As I said, what happens in the project stays in the project.
He doesn't give up.
No.
Oh, okay. Strahinja, you are from Serbia and you are also, I will say, new in the circuit, but you made a small project which succeeded and was pitched. And how was your experience? How did you enter to all this stuff connected to MOST? And now you had a festival, but now you're expanded back to the music. So how was it for you to enter to this world?
So, speaking about MOST, I was also targeted as Maja on Instagram. And that was funny thing, like I was traveling from Čačak to Montenegro, where I was living and working, and in a bus journey I received an ad. And then it flashed in a second, and then you skip an Instagram ad like instantly, and then I was like, oh, return, go back. And then I find it and applied. But we started with Duk Festival in 2015, so we are like a social movement basically. We constructed a skate park and an amphitheater in Čačak, so to celebrate such a thing, we decided, okay, let's make a festival, and that's how Duk Festival started. So our festival has 3 pillars. One pillar is skateboarding competition, second pillar are mural and street art, and third pillar is music. And it was happening usually in 7 days with other workshops and events and so on. And we were, let's say, happily developing since 2015 to 2019, and of course, COVID. So during the COVID, we managed to maintain like minimum of our festival through mural painting, but we couldn't make any concerts. And then 2023 was the first year that we came back with music, and there MOST played an important role in our organization because it gave us support. I was on a professional crossroad. Basically, I quit my work in Montenegro and said to myself, now you're gonna pursue your dreams, like, because in the past years we were doing this like as a part-time job. Even like 5 years I was living in Southeast Asia, so it was quite intense and crazy to travel half of the world to come back to Serbia and to do a festival for a month, and then you go back. And of course, it's not the way that you can make a successful organization and event. So I decided to quit my job and fully dedicate to festival. So most played an important role through the knowledge that they gained, through support, through mentorships. And I think mostly the feeling that they belong to this industry, you know, like, so I think, and as, like, we got financial support, which in terms of the whole budget of the project is just a fraction, but like, in sense, it gave much more through the feeling of belonging and support and the knowledge, and yeah, it was really an interesting journey.
You are coming from Čačak, which is the Serbian culture capital this year. Serbia created this new project where the cities or towns are a capital of cultures. Now we are in Vesprem. So what was, from the mayor of Čačak, the most important thing to have on the Serbian culture capital? Because we know what is for the mayor of Vesprem the most important thing. Who should play in Vesprem to make it successful? Do you have this information, or?
I have no clue, but I can take a wild guess
Okay.
and maybe not return to Serbia.
Maybe your festival was part of the most, and how the province in Serbia, like Čačak, is a big town, it's not a small town. Do people really know about most, and how we can put more data into the Serbian province, and how we get communicated with such important European project?
I mean, I think like the work that we're doing is to decentralize culture. So, and I think in Serbia we don't have much decentralized culture. I mean, everything is in Novi Sad and Belgrade. And so I live in Belgrade, but I decided to dedicate my time to Čačak, like, because I believe that we need to develop stronger networks. So I think, I'm not sure how much people know about most or similar projects in smaller places in Serbia. I mean, we were promoting most very well on our networks, and so hopefully now they know for it and they will follow it and get a chance to have more useful information from the network. So I think we should work to decentralize culture. Like this is our duty.
So Vesprem to Čačak, it's good decentralization, I will say.
Yeah.
Klára, you are the project manager still, and on this big project, which for us as Todo Mundo Festival was also very important in the festival exchange pillar. It was great experience, and also probably for the other festivals which were not with such long and extending careers, also for the bands, as I work with Hana, it was really a dream come true to be supported and to be well promoted. But from your side, as from Hangvető, I mean, this project was imagined and dreamed for many times, and applications were there before. So what do you think? How much time you have to dedicate to create such project which will be accepted, and then after it's supported from the Creative Europe, how much time you have to prepare some project like this?
Well, as you mentioned, the idea was born in 2011, and then I think the first version was submitted in 2016. And I think what really shows that most became like its own story, that everybody has his or her own version how it all started. And I think it's a great legacy that everybody wants to own the project somehow, but it's great. Actually, that was really the aim, and actually that's why we decided to put on a stage such a big panel, because we wanted to show the complexity of the project and the people behind it. So I'm really happy sitting here and just listening to everybody involved in the project, because this is somehow validates our aim to show that, okay, we could share facts and figures and all the different versions this project undertook during its operation. But really the aim was to create these very personal experiences and professional growth during the project. And back to your question, how to prepare such a growth? Well, it's not an easy task, and I would say that you have to take your time, a lot of time, especially because of all what happened during the implementation of the project. So as I mentioned, we really had quite some different versions how to go on with the project during a pandemic. But what I'm really personally happy about, and my new favorite number is 4, because 4 is a number for activities that were only just cancelled during the COVID, but we have like more than 100 more that we could continue in another adapted version to the COVID. But you know, I think it's a very big achievement, if I can just add this modest comment on our own work, that we could continue during all circumstances with the project.
So let's start with the most difficult part of the implementation, apart from COVID, as you were there from the beginning, and it's probably not easy to connect with all the partners, and also then how many people. I mean, also I think it will be nice if the statistics when the project is over is available for everybody, because then we can also sociologically understand how this works in each of the countries from the Balkans, and Hungary is a part of the Balkans, despite what Simon says. But okay, so maybe start with what was for you the most difficult moment, or I mean, generally? Or do you forget about it now when everything shines here in Veszprém?
Yeah, this is definitely a highlight to be here now. I joined the team of Hangvető, and also most at the halftime of the project. So that was definitely a challenge to understand what was planned, what was implemented, and what are we going to do in the rest of the time. As I mentioned, we really had to make up for the time lost, and we did 3 times more than originally planned. But I think that's okay, because really now seeing the result being here, as you know, this was supposed to be the final event for us, but I'm pretty sure that we can't really stop now. Now that we got this momentum, we will definitely continue with this project, and also with this mission, promoting Balkan music, and everybody's involved in the Balkan music scene.
And what is for Hangvető, how it improved Hangvető operational, business, and emotional, and all these contacts? I mean, Hangvető is for ages with us, but how inside, how it is in the office? How do you feel the improvement thanks to MOST and implementing such a huge project, which I don't think you have before?
Yes, so for Hangvető, this was the first project on this scale. Actually, it was even the first project in Hungary that won this grant on a large cooperation level. So it was already quite an achievement, but also, of course, a challenge to grow up for this kind of cooperations. So for Hangvető, this was the first one, but I think this really helped us to grow our network. Of course, this was originally already based on our existing network in the Balkans. We managed to grow this network, but it also helped us to reach out to many new international partners. And we are in happy partnership in other projects, such as the Upbeat project, that is a platform for European showcase festivals of world music. So I think we could really get on a next step in our international cooperations. And I think internally it was also like an evolution, if I can use this strong word. The project started with 2 core project managers. Of course, many other colleagues have supported the project, and well, it grew continuously. And by now, by producing this festival, our core team of 5 was expanded to the entire company. So what you can see now, it's really the joint effort of Hangvető. We really put our hearts and souls in this to showcase to you what we are capable of and what we would like to do in the future, not only in the Balkans, but maybe even more globally.
So we are all thankful to Hangvető, and maybe they deserve at this moment a huge applause, but also every day. But we are not finished. I don't know about the basketball game, but maybe, Eric, you have been as a mentor, you also mentioned what you think we should also do to improve the whole project for the future. Now we are here now, and most is finishing as far we heard from Klára. She will, and Hangvető probably wants to continue somehow, not maybe in the most two, but something similar. And what would be your advices for the new projects, how to work this and how to continue, and what can be improved?
You know, I've been part of many European projects because for 30 years I've been, you know, a consultant, project manager, and also grant writer. So I think you have always to start with the needs, so identify what are the needs. And I think, I mean, from my experience with mentorship, I know that young artists, they don't need a manager, but they need experts what they can access. So I think creating a pool of experts from different sides, because this music industry is complex. You know, it's producers, it's technicians, it's I mean, when you start to get in, I mean, it's a lot of things that not one mentor can answer. And I mean, already to have this available, that would be very interesting. And I think also kind of academy, but in the spirit of the project. So also very concrete, not something theoretical, but you know, with concrete, with these possibilities of internship or in the companies, because it's really there that you learn the real stuff. I think the problem, for instance, I'm living in Italy, it's a big issue that, you know, the school or the university is not connected really with the enterprises sector, and so you need this because, I mean, that's how the world is working. So you need experience. So that would be just an idea, maybe to work together to discuss, see what are the needs in the different countries, because also every country is different. So it's. But yeah, there are things to do.
Yeah, okay. Katerina, Eric mentioned the needs, and then as you are the band member but also has been in the training pillar, what are the needs for the bands? Does every country has to have login? Is it enough? And what is that we should
Login
get?
has been our export office, basically. But yeah, Macedonia definitely needs an export office. We don't have one. But I also think we need an export-import office. Like my dream is becoming from the management training. I realized that I want more bands to come to Macedonia, like our bands going out, but also other bands coming in. So like, yeah, we need the market to be able to communicate with each other, because the Balkans is kind of secluded, and what Most did was amazing because we had this kind of export. So I think this is what is needed also, you know, more market exchange, kind of.
Rok, you are from Slovenia, and this export-import works in Slovenia for decades. So what do you see would be, according to the achievements of most, how to progress further for the Balkans? I mean,
yeah, I mean, in Slovenia, it's a specific situation. We don't have an export office, but we have other ways how to get funds from ministry, from the culture and foreign ministry, actually even more. It is possible to get these funds easier than other places in the Balkans, which is definitely the problem which Kate mentioned in the Balkans about exporting bands is very, as you all very well know, is very problematic. So this is definitely one of the legacies of the MOST project. If it will stay alive, it will be very welcomed. But when you mentioned the ending of MOST project and going into next projects and advices, it wouldn't be like fair to have any advices, but maybe just a comment.
Suggestion.
You mentioned constant growth of the festival, which is great if things are growing, but sometimes this growth becomes very big. This tree became huge, and sometimes it's difficult to see the roots at the end. So maybe it's, if not suggestion or advice or whatever, maybe not to grow too much sometimes.
What was for you the most achievement of MOST project? What was the best achievement? Because you are in it from the beginning, you have really been in touch with everybody, so I think you are the best
Maybe
person to be
something
asked.
which Simon mentioned at the beginning, and we talked about it yesterday also, that this Balkan stereotype, also because of the MOST project, is not so vivid anymore as a stereotypic Balkan brass music being on every festival. Now this, let's call it brand, Balkans means more than it meant before. And I think this is the biggest achievement.
Yes, and also nowadays we have a Morgenstern festival which was Balkan without brass, so they also understood, and this is a huge festival. Last year Rudolstadt was dedicated to the Balkans, so it seems that, okay, everybody is receiving this, and also from the label side perspective, I see there is more interest. This is what I mentioned on the listening session. CPL Music started with Balkans like a year and a half ago, and they already have 3 bands showcasing here at MOST, and they have been into Nordic music or the other music stuff. So for you, Simon, as you have been following Balkan music for decades, I mean, how we should improve the media presence for the Balkan music, which is not stereotyped?
I think whatever one says about the Balkans is true for most other parts of the world as well. I think, you know, as somebody involved in a magazine that is trying to cover the whole world, I'm so aware there's parts of the world that we are ignoring and aren't getting enough attention. I'm always very happy to try and bring more attention to the Balkans because it's a part of the world that I like and enjoy very much, and that's something that we will go on doing. I think ultimately what all these things are about people and about contacts, and I think what I've gained most from this project is just meeting new people and finding contacts, particularly in parts of the Balkans that I'd never been to before, places I'd never visited before, and that network, and really networking is, I think, what sustains this whole business. And so I guess ultimately just the more we use the contacts that we've made through this, you know, the further we will get with it, and you know, the more the music of the people that are here will get out to the world, and we have to keep carrying on to do what we can to, you know, make that possible and enable it. So, you know, forward in all directions, as Pirana are always saying.
Yes, I mean, it's also vital, I mean, within all networking, don't forget all the cards that you got from the others and contacts. Don't put them away, just keep on the contacting and speaking to people, contacting people. This is also very important. Strahinja, your festival is not only a music festival. How you see that these things can be brought together, because this multi-task, multi-genre might be the future for everybody, especially for the younger generation.
Yeah, I mean, like, actually with the MOST project, like, when I wrote a project in the beginning, like, first idea was to make the skate park stage, but then with some meetings with the work group from the Ministry of Culture, like, we decided to merge it with largest to date mural painting that we are doing, and that was like a silo project. So we painted 34-meter high silo, and that was like not only biggest thing that happened in Čačak, but it was like really big news on a national level. So we had like really high media attention, and so we used that like to attract public attention and bring them to witness the process of mural painting. So this is something unusual to see, like to see a person on a 34-meter height, like in a small car, like painting something while something in front is happening. So, and as well, in my team, we have a lot of visual artists. So I hope in the future our like festival zone will have that kind of like artistic feeling, that we're gonna use visual art to give an experience for the visitors. So I think merging different branches of art like is the future, like not only in art but also to make interdisciplinary things like in other fields too.
Thank you. And now, Maja, as you said, you are coming from the black hole of the Balkans. How we can really help you all? I mean, to really make something and more vivid, more lively. It's not only a festival, but also to grab the local musicians to work together to perform and to be included in this Balkan circle.
Yeah, I think the most important thing, and maybe the saddest thing, is that we don't actually have a lot of Balkan musicians coming to Montenegro to play, which is really sad, right? Because I think the region is, especially the former Yugoslavia, is connected precisely through music, amongst other things. But Montenegro stays, for some reason, secluded, like on every front. And being a part of this project actually allowed me to meet and hear a lot of amazing musicians that come from the Balkan region that I wasn't honestly aware of, because my listening to music is a bit different. It's not only Balkan music, of course. So this project has brought to my attention just how many amazing musicians we have in the region. And I think the first step would be to bring those musicians in Montenegro, so the people from Montenegro can become aware in the same manner that I was, just of the importance of merging and bringing our people back together through such an, beautiful thing such as music is, right? And that would be the first step. And when I talk about festival in Montenegro, it would be a boutique festival because, to be honest, Montenegro is not a huge market. And I think boutique festivals are closer to my heart because they're more intimate, and the story would be a lot different than to create a huge festival, right? And it would be, I think, impossible on that scale to create in Montenegro. Either way, boutique festival would be an ideal place to start, and to start with musicians from the region, and then eventually expand it and bring in musicians from other cultures, and in this way emancipate the Montenegrin people from mental slavery, right? Through music. Yeah, that would be the goal.
Okay.
I was just going to say, I think one of the interesting things, you used the black hole expression. But I don't think we had any applications from Montenegro for the MOST project, did we?
There is a World Music Festival from Tivat.
Tivat, yeah.
Yeah.
Artists, no, zero. And the funny thing is, there are no releases from music from Montenegro, except there is Antonovka Records, which is Russian Moldavian label. The guy is living in Serbia, so he released 3 Montenegrin players on his label. I mean, this is incredible. We need the Russian coming to Serbia and to push us. I mean, this is something which is also good. Klára, maybe we will leave the stage for the end. Are we allowed to ask what's next?
Well, some rest, yes, I hope. Well, with this project, as I mentioned, this is not really the end. We are really committed to make up for the first 2 years that were lost to COVID a bit. So we would like to make this project a whole. That's one ambition, to finish the project and really make it as good as a project as the potential is definitely there.
I'm sure the mastermind, Hangvető, is already having 3 steps already done in this further project. I'm sure that you are deeply into it. Sorry. Yeah, please continue.
Yeah.
And then from Hangvető and from Hungarian side, how do you see what was achieved? I mean, for us from the Balkans, it's really a lot, it meant a lot, and there are perspectives that are open for the bands, for the festivals, for all of us. I mean, even Simon and me are in the contact with all these people for decades, but it's still very new and very fresh, and also great to you have input with new people, new energy. And how do you see it from the tradition, which is strong? I mean, Hungarian tradition, and the music is definitely one of the strongest in Europe. How do you see the improvement, and how do you see the future?
Well, that is maybe a shortcoming of the project, that we cannot really work with our own Hungarian bands, although Balkan music is quite popular in that sense in Hungary as well, that we have those bands very professionally playing this kind of music. And actually, thanks to this festival, we could create some spotlight for them as well. There were some pre-concerts, warm-up concerts here in Veszprém in the last couple of weeks to present what Hungary has as a bridge to Balkan music. I think, back to your question, this project really opened doors to us, and directly this means open doors for Hangvető, but I really like to think that we are choosing the right missions to promote through these open doors. So definitely, I think that can bring some spotlight to our country as well, which might not have the best reputation, but through good projects, good people, I think it can be viewed in a different way.
And maybe for R.O.K, as now you are booking agent for several MOST artists, and you have been there from the beginning, and you have been in the business for decades. So how do you see it as a booker? What was the reaction coming from the other side of Europe? And also how it is inside the Balkans. This is also a very important thing. Okay, the West is one target for everybody, but still within the Balkans we have to use this project to get contacts, to make creation, to invite the bands from the region, which was not always the case. I mean, bringing musicians either from Europe or from Africa, it's always easier than to bring somebody from Macedonia who don't have the support.
I think this part of the project would exchange bands from the Balkans to the West, and Western bands did the job for this. Again, if this will be the legacy, great. But I think also important that it created a space to play for other artists in the Balkans. Yeah, okay, Montenegro is like away from this list, but also Montenegro actually. I was there like 2 years. I have a band playing today in Montenegro actually. So it's not complete black hole. It's possible to book a concert there. So yeah, I think if this stays and grows, this will be very important for the region. As a booking Balkan bands from the project, I think almost, sorry for my nose and throat, many bands did get an opportunity to play outside, which was probably very interesting experience, and some of them definitely didn't expect to play that much, and in important and big festivals like Womex, for most of the bands from the region is like, I wouldn't say dream come true, but very important festival, and 4, I think, from the project already were selected to play there. So
and now 5.
Now 5, exactly. So this is something which is helping them big time, definitely, yeah.
And what would be your advice for the bands? How to try to reach these new markets?
Play as much as they can everywhere. Use all opportunities, and I mean, try to also work inside those kind of projects. I mean, sometimes as an agent, it's sometimes that kind of projects can be difficult. Why? Because promoters have obligations to select bands from the project, and then you enter to that market, to that festival, more difficult. It's more difficult to enter it because of that. But if the bands try to be part of the festivals, they get another opportunity through that kind of project. So it's important for them to keep working inside that kind of projects.
Thank you. And Klára, is this the whole festival, the ending party of Most, or there is another special event?
You're asking me about the after party?
Absolutely.
Well, I would advise to go grassroots on this. Actually, this is a good story about from the project that now that we are near the end, we are really receiving many requests for cooperation, and it's not only coming externally but also internally. So as we have this huge alumni community, more than 500 people from all the different pillars, and I can see that they got activated and they are forming projects together. Sometimes we hear about them, sometimes we don't, but that's okay. We really want it to be this multiplier of the region. So I think what's now the next is to just enjoy this buzz that we contributed to create, because it was there in the beginning as well. We just highlighted them.
And nowadays, the bands prefers to have a selfie photo from the stage with the audience. We are going to have a group photo of the whole Most project.
Good question. I will ask a colleague to take care of it.
Okay. Is the office big enough, or it should be in this big square?
Yeah, I think we should choose the biggest stage we got.
Okay. Thanks to everybody. It was nice talking to you. Thanks to Hangvető for all this stuff and everybody who was involved. It was a real pleasure to be part of it for the last 4 years, and also to dream about the next future projects. And I'm looking forward to whatever it comes. And thanks to the artists, they are the most important. Their creativity is, this is what we need. This is what we are here for the music, for the fun, for the friendship. Thank you all. Of course, thanks to the audience, you can also ask questions. Whoever would like to ask, we have 10 minutes extra time. If there are any. Yeah, please. Yes, please.
Thank you. So I was lucky enough to be in the first round of the management training. First question is to Maja. How can a country be a black hole and still have a sea, a beautiful sea that people can swim in it?
I didn't say that. It was said to me, so I just used it.
Okay, I was just kidding, of course. Klára, a question for you. If, let's say, everything can be resetted right now to the beginning, and if you would need to do it again, what would you change?
Please don't start all over again. No, we have learned a lot. And actually it's quite inspiring to have those mistakes in mind. So how we are using this experience is by creating new projects with these lessons learned. And I think the most important part of it really the assessing the needs, as Eric just mentioned, that a good project starts with really knowing the needs. And I think we had quite a good idea about the needs, but of course working with all these people and have this direct experience just gave us more ideas how to best address these challenges. So yes, I'm quite sure that we could do it better if we would redo it again, but I would for now just focus on finishing it nice and, and proudly.
Some more questions?
Do you need the mic?
Yeah, absolutely, please.
Can you just repeat the question about the black hole country and black hole one more time so I can more precisely answer it?
No, I was just joking. I said that how can a country be a black hole and still have a sea, a beautiful sea, that people can swim in it?
Okay, so what is happening in Croatia right now on a big scale? It's exactly answer to this question. So we have a situation where the country is a black hole for new artists who cannot do anything. Because wherever you come, for me as a handpan player, I got denied from all the labels and everything. They have no interest in my music, but there is a scene and people who are really interested in it, but there's no structure. And what happens is people uniting, saying, okay, we don't care about money, we have exchange. So I have people who are producers, music producers, who are starting to build what they do. I have people who are doing many sort of things, to not say, like, when we combine with small effort and no money, we can do many things. And we are building a structure. There is more places like this in Croatia where really important things are being done. And there's no support from the culture, from the country. Basically, even people are not believing in this and saying this won't work because they don't believe, instead of giving support. And they are investing energy in saying this won't work, this won't work. And if they just use this energy to give support and say, look, there is this happening, we should support this, just to flip this mindset, things will change. So now there is actually many things on this way happening in Croatia. If anybody's interested about this to speak later with me, I can actually share the story. And thank you for this.
Okay, now when mentioning black holes in the applications, one of the funny things of the Balkan music, the most popular musicians and music are from Bosnia. And how many festivals in Bosnia there are of the world music? 0. And then it's really funny, but it's the truth. So also that means that everywhere some kind of infrastructure is needed. And also through this most and the contacts, I see that some people are trying to get and to make the concerts in the small places like Lukavac or Gračanica or whatever. So this is also the improvement. They understood, okay, let's communicate, and then when the bands are around, it will be very helpful.
So we had a concert in Montenegro, and it was a Balkan body music concert in Kolašin, but it was a theater festival. So it's just, you know, in the Balkans, you just need to find your way around, and that's what it is. Way around? Yeah, like you need to find the people that will support you, like Ivan said.
Of course, but I'm talking about like a structured and a focused.
Yeah.
Festival. We don't need to go around like governments and institutions. I want the institutions to acknowledge the need for interregional dialogue through art, music,
yes,
whatever, and not that I have to go around them, about them, and I don't know. You know what I mean?
I understand you completely. I want the same thing, but we
yes,
need to live and to play to the people. So we are heard, you know. So that's the, like, you
yes,
need to find your way around the Balkans, yes, until they acknowledge you. And even if they do not acknowledge you, if the people acknowledge you, okay, then you will play.
Okay.
So the audience is much more important than the government.
Of course,
in a
it's
sense.
all about the audience.
Yeah.
Of course, yes. Okay, thank you.
Nick?
I don't know if I'm right. I might be wrong, but my feeling, and it's really come to me like, and I said it yesterday, is that the weakest link is record companies. And it's to do with partly the international record market, the dominance of the major record labels, the transformation from physical records to streaming. There are a lot of factors. But the role of a record company in 2023, for me, is first of all, more than anything else, marketing. Especially marketing through PR, because PR is cheap relative to pointless advertisements and so on and so on. But if you don't reach the record reviews editor at Songlines, your album will not be reviewed in Songlines. There has to be a pitch, and it has to come from a credible record label that they, you know, it probably won't get reviewed if it's your own label and you're in Bosnia, let's say, and there's no international profile. It probably won't get reviewed, or it might just get a mention in a roundup. But to get a proper review, it has to have the credibility of a record label that's operating at an international level. And that, I think, again, I might be wrong, that I think applies across the board to all media. That is, you know, the media that matters, the media that changes and shapes careers. And the question then is, there are very, very few record labels in the Balkans, it seems to me, who are operating with an international mindset. It's not...
Zero.
Well, Glitterbeat.
Yeah, I mean, it's a German label, but Glitterbeat...
Well, they're based in Ljubljana. Let's call them Balkan.
Okay, absolutely.
And they also release Balkan music, amongst, of course, music from Africa and all over the world. But they definitely release Balkan music, including music from Slovenia. So they are Balkan friendly. They don't have to be a Balkan specialist. It doesn't matter. But they have a focus on the Balkans. They released a fantastic album from Albania. You know, there's a lot of stuff, quite a lot of music from Turkey, etc. So and I can say, living in Istanbul, you know, we have essentially there's one great Turkish record label, which is Kalan, which Simon knows very well. They are hopeless at international marketing. I live in Istanbul. I write reviews for Songlines. They even don't send me the releases, and I'm down the road. The only record label in my experience that has this mentality of international marketing is Glitterbeat, of the ones operating in the Balkans. Now that seems to me to be a problem, because obviously we can't depend on Glitterbeat. Glitterbeat release what they release. They release a small percentage of what they could release because there's a lot of offers. So this seems to, when we talk about infrastructure, which is a word I don't like, but if we talk about cultural infrastructure, then I feel that the lack of record labels, and a record label can just be one person who's an enthusiast, but who has that ambition, that vision to find music, put it out, and you don't even, these days, you don't even have to actually manufacture anything because you just need a deal with a digital distributor. But if you put a record out on a digital distribution, it's available globally, but nobody will buy it unless there's a PR, consequences of some level of PR, that there are reviews and, you know, all the rest of it. And for a working musician, the getting gigs rather follows the PR. It doesn't come before the PR. So you, as an agent, and I speak as an agent, I feel I'm a failure. And I'm a failure. We are successful. With some artists, we are successful, and they are the artists who have strong media profiles. The other artists, I feel, I love the music. We make every effort. We send mails out and meet people and contact festivals, and with minimal response. And I think most of us who are working as agents have a similar experience. And that's terribly frustrating, you know, and then the artist is not working, they're not making a career, they're not building anything, and you're stuck. So I feel
Nick,
that's
can I quickly answer?
Start the label.
Yeah, I'm sorry for the rant, but I just feel it's an important point, and I don't have an answer, but I feel in this territory of infrastructure, there's something that needs an additional focus, a post-MOST focus. You know, we talked yesterday and we mentioned seed capital, you know, because it actually requires very little money, but it requires an enthusiast or enthusiasts who have the vision and start something.
All I wanted to say, Nick, is I think you're right. I think PR is incredibly important. As far as Songlines is concerned, actually there are quite a lot of albums that get reviewed that aren't sent by record labels or PR companies, and I think people I've spoken to here at MOST have sent in albums and had them reviewed. What I would say is supremely important is sending an album or a link, but most important is some press release, some information about the band and about the album, so that and clearly a link to the album, and all those things are listened to by the reviews editor at Songlines, and then a decision is made whether a review will go into the magazine. But if there's a decent press release and the right information accompanying the album, a review is possible. But I agree, a label or a PR, a known PR, really helps.
Yeah, I will add to this one, sorry. Yeah. I mean, as being part of several charts, it's easy to apply with online recordings. And this is what we really need also. I mean, there are labels who release this kind of stuff in the Balkans, absolutely. It's not only Glitterbit, but they don't know how to reach it. So maybe one of the things which I might suggest to log in, try to collect all these label people and instruct them, okay, now here is Araceli, Milan Tesar is here. They can talk how you can apply to Balkan charts, to world music charts, Europe. At least this is starting point which costs mostly nothing. So this is one of the things. But also creating a new label which will be dedicated to Balkan music with international experience, that would be also another issue. Sorry, Rok.
No, I just would like to say that I absolutely agree that labels are the problem in the Balkans, but this is much wider problem. Like even, if I know personally the case of, like, for example, Maria Mazzotta, who is like recognized internationally and everything. Her new album was sent to many labels, but they will self-release it instead. They didn't find a label with international good PR. And at the end, yeah, as you said, everything goes almost to the Glitterbit, and they cannot release everything. Unfortunately, Sylvie is not here because he has a listening session, but we talked about it yesterday a lot, about their focus. They are based not in the Balkans, they are on the north bank of Ljubljanica River, so geographically they are Middle Europa label. But they consciously decided to make a focus on the Balkans in the next few years, which is, I think, very good news from their side.
I just want to say, putting on my conference organizer hat, that this afternoon we will have a conference panel discussion about Balkan music experts and expert strategies. So I think many things that now we are discussing will be addressed there. So I think we can continue this there. And also I just want to talk a little about the background. Now you can also see this very nice tableau on the ground floor of Hang Villa. What you could see here on stage, it's really just some representatives of the project. We wanted to give you a panoramic view, like Simon as partner, Maja as a management training participant, Strahinja from Policy Pillar, Bojan, he was also a multitasker, but he was involved as a festival, R.O.K as a mentor, Katerina as an artist, and R.O.K as really everything, a big support for the project, and me as coordinator. But behind all of us, there are many more people, so what we try to do is to put everybody on this tableau. I'm sure we didn't, or we couldn't do that. Maybe there are some mistakes, but anyhow, what I want to say that we are really grateful for everyone being involved in this project, and also the partners. Now I can see some partner faces in the audience. So yeah, go and take a look on the ground floor and find yourself on the tableau.
Any more questions at the end? Or now we can see the lunch and celebrate the victory. One of the Balkan countries is in the finals of the World Basketball. So we stay in Vesprem to see the finals on Sunday.